Hello, my name is Gillian Jones-Williams, and I'd like to talk to you today about menopause. Now, menopause gets a really bad rap, and quite rightly so, due to some of the symptoms that people are experiencing. But today, on World Menopause Day, I would like to talk to you about a different way of thinking about menopause, a way to potentially perceive it that might make a difference to how you feel. And it's based on the concept of second spring. Now, second spring comes from the field of Chinese medicine, and it looks at the cycle of our lives. Now, just in our lives where we have spring and we have summer and we have autumn and we have winter, within this concept, our bodies go through the same type of cycle. So if you think about spring of a woman's life, that's about teenage, it's about puberty. When it comes to the summer, it's about projects or babies, depending on which way they decide to go or what happens to them. But then when it starts to get into autumn, it's perimenopause for women, and it's starting to, find some of those symptoms and define how we're feeling, and often confusion. And then we go into winter, and this is deemed to be split into two parts. And the first one is about surrender to menopause, accepting that it's happening, allowing our body to heal and rest, and often feeling totally exhausted. But then another part called emergence. And that part is when we are starting to shed identities and check them. We're starting to move out and into second spring. And we all know, even after the hardest of winters, spring always comes. So in second spring for women, it's talking about a time where we now can start to reinvent ourselves. We can get into perhaps a period of I don't give a damn, to do things that we'd always wanted to do, and to be able to be the person we always wanted to be, with added wisdom and years. Getting to second spring can be a hard and long journey for some people, but perhaps if we could accept that it's on our way, we might feel a little bit better. So I'd just like to give you some very quick strategies to think about to help you to accelerate your path to second spring. And they are, first of all, self-sustainability, then resilience, then maintaining visibility and credibility, and breaking boundaries and reinvention, and finally managing emotions. And all of these things are things which during menopause we might not pay so much attention to or might not feel the same about. So first of all, self-sustainability. Women often say to me that they really have stopped looking after themselves. They don't feel they're worth it. They don't value themselves. And yet it's really important to do this, to think of the things that would make you feel better, to think of the things that make you feel good about yourself, and plan those things in. It's also about how you look after yourself. And certainly one of the things that I learned through menopause was that what you eat and how you go about your maintenance of your diet and fitness can make a massive difference to menopause. And unfortunately, one of the first things to go has to be processed food, which has an incredible impact on your mood and also your energy levels. Resilience is another thing. How can we summon up the energy to keep going when we're struggling to get through the night sometimes, but drawing on our resilience, looking at having a growth mindset, being able to think of, what can we control and what can't we control, and to focus on the things that we can control will certainly help us to be more resilient. And visibility and credibility. I know so many women that during menopause basically say they just want to crawl under a stone or stay in bed and pull the duvet over their head. However, when it gets to second spring, you may have new goals. You may have decided that you don't want to give up your career. Perhaps you want to change the way that you work, but you're starting to get the energy and the love back for it again. So it's important to retain your network and remain visible so that you don't just fade into the background during that period. But then it comes to the fun part of second spring, and that is the reinvention and the breaking boundaries. This is the time to think about, what does your new self look like? Free from the shackles maybe of working in the same ways, of being a parent, being a carer. What do you want to do with your life? What's your plan? We often learn about being a woman from mothers and caregivers and peers, and no wonder we sometimes feel insufficient. But where's the real you? What do you really want to be? You may even want to consider, what does feminine mean to you? And sometimes you may question your gender during menopause. It's fine, it's all part of entering second spring and thinking about, what does my life look like? What's my plan? What's the legacy that I want to leave? And how can I design my life going forward? And finally, really managing our emotions. Now, we're often conditioned to think that emotions come in packages, and generally we're either happy, sad, or angry. But if we can't name how we're actually feeling, it's really difficult for us to do something about it. So taking this time to be really, really good at thinking, how do I feel right now? And what do I need right now? Can help you very much to alleviate the symptoms and put you in a much better position, and particularly being able to name and explain those feelings to other people. Sometimes we might feel overwhelmed, but to another person, understanding what does overwhelm mean and how can I help you can be difficult. If we broke that down, what do we really, really feel? Do we feel we have too much work? Do we feel undervalued? Do we not feel seen or loved? And really being able to understand that can help significantly. So whilst you might be currently experiencing difficult symptoms, stay positive about the future. How do I know this? Well, because I'm through that period and I'm in my second spring, possibly even on my way to my second summer here. And I know that I have more energy than when I was 40 years old, and I've certainly got some really fantastic goals for the next 10 years, and I feel the vibrant and energized person that I used to. I hope that's helped for you. If you want to hear more, then you can contact us at emergeuk.com.